God says, don't tell anyone. Listen to this for 5 minutes and money will appear out of nowhere. Prayer for money. Beloved child of God, quiet your heart for a moment and listen closely, for this message is meant only for those who truly seek divine guidance. Heaven holds mysteries that are not shouted from rooftops, but whispered into the hearts of those who are ready to receive. Do not cast your pearls before swine, says Matthew 7:6, reminding us that some truths are sacred and meant for those who approach with faith. This is one of those sacred keys, a message of prayer for money, but not in the way the world understands wealth. It is not a charm, not a superstition, and not a scheme. It is a divine conversation between you and your Creator, a moment where your soul aligns with heaven's abundance. So take this not as noise, but as nourishment, for it is written, "My God shall supply all your needs according to his riches in glory." Philippians 4:19. Now listen, for God's timing is not man's timing. You have been told that success must take years, that relief is always far away, that a financial prayer is a slow process. But the Lord is not limited by clocks or calendars. He is the same one who spoke light into being in a single breath, who divided the sea in an instant so his people could walk free. He needs only your faith, not your fear. He asks not for endless labor, but for a heart that believes, a tongue that declares, and a few moments of surrendered stillness. This, beloved, is your prayer for financial breakthrough. It is a key that turns unseen locks, a whisper that summons provision from unexpected places. I know your struggles. Perhaps the numbers on your bills mock you, the calls from creditors steal your sleep, or the weight of worry crushes your peace. But hear this, your lack doesn't define you. Your Father in heaven knows what you need even before you ask. When you lift this prayer for money miracle with sincerity, you are not commanding riches. You are aligning with divine provision. And in that moment of trust, God begins to move, sometimes quietly, rearranging circumstances, opening hearts, redirecting opportunities. This is not a performance to impress others. It is a sacred moment between you and heaven. The proud will mock it. The doubtful will scroll past it, but the humble will feel their spirit awaken as though a long locked door has opened. Take this prayer to your quiet place, your bedroom, your car, your early morning walk, and speak it softly, not to be seen but to be transformed. For those who treat this prayer lightly will find emptiness, but those who honor it will witness divine acceleration. God can turn what seemed impossible into testimony. You will see resources flow, debts canceled, and favor returned. So before you begin this holy prayer, declare these words with faith. I receive invisible abundance right now. Say it not as a demand, but as an act of agreement. You are not chasing wealth. You are welcoming divine provision. You are stepping into alignment with the one who holds all things together. And as you continue in faith, remember this truth. Faith without works is dead. Let your actions mirror your belief. Be generous. Work with integrity and stay grateful, even before the miracle arrives. Gratitude opens doors that worry keeps closed. Beloved, as you end this prayer for financial breakthrough, know that you are not alone. God sees the hours you've wept, the nights you've questioned, the prayers whispered in silence. And now, He answers, not always with coins falling from the sky, but with strength, wisdom, and divine timing that will lead you to what you need. Trust His ways, for they are higher than yours. Speak your prayer with faith, walk your path with gratitude, and watch how heaven responds, swiftly, surely, and abundantly. And God builds with purpose and precision. When you lift a prayer for finances and invite Him to govern your money the way He governs the tides and the seasons, you are placing your trust in His perfect timing and His deep care for your soul. God has seen the nights you couldn't sleep because of worry, the tears you tried to hide, and the quiet fears that whispered you might not make it. He has counted the bills on your table, the sighs between your breaths, and the moments you tried to smile through the weight of lack. But hear this, He does not shame you for feeling small under pressure. Instead, He lifts you higher, showing you that shortage does not define you. Poverty is not just about numbers on a paper, it's a story that says you are alone. And God says that lie ends here. You are not alone. He is your Father. He is your source. He will teach you how to handle blessings with wisdom. But first, He must free your heart from the grip of fear. Think of your life like a heavy iron door that refuses to open no matter how hard you push. Your strength cannot move it. But a small key, turned with calm faith, moves the pins you cannot see, and suddenly, the door swings open with ease. That's what this money prayer is. Not magic, not manipulation, but the key of faith unlocking spiritual locks that human effort cannot. You don't have to force or beg. You simply agree with God, and the mechanism of His kingdom responds. Have you ever wondered why something suddenly worked out after you stopped worrying and just trusted? That's what happens when you align your spirit with His will. Now, some may ask, if this really works, why isn't everyone doing it, beloved? Not everyone truly wants God. Some only want what He gives. Some prefer to argue instead of obey, to fill the silence with noise instead of listening for His voice. But you, yes, you, are being spoken to right now because your heart is ready. You have ears to hear and faith to receive. Keep this sacred. Don't treat it like a trick or share it with those who will mock it. Share it with those who are ready to honor it. Guard what He gives you, and you will see it multiply. Right now, still yourself. Quiet the storm inside your chest. Breathe deeply. Place your hand over your heart if you wish, and whisper, God, I trust you. This 2-minute decree is not about how long you pray, but how true your faith is. As you pray this prayer for finances, something begins to shift. The heaviness in your heart softens, clarity rises, courage settles into your thoughts. You may even feel a strange peace replacing panic. As your inner world comes into alignment, your outer world starts to rearrange itself. Phone calls returned, approvals sent, opportunities that seemed lost finding their way back to you. You don't need to plan how the blessing will arrive. Let God choose the door. Your job is to believe and speak. Before you move forward, seal this moment. Type Amen or speak it aloud as a sign of faith. Share this message not as a promotion, but as an act of compassion for someone praying on a kitchen floor tonight, wondering if God still sees them. When you sow encouragement into someone else's life, you plant the very seed that will bloom in your own hour of need. God will remember. He will send encouragement back to you when you need it most. Let this truth settle deep within you. God is never late. He is not testing you to watch you fail. He is preparing you to handle the blessings without letting them harm you. The waiting is not punishment, it's training. When your answer comes, and it will come, let gratitude be your first response, wisdom your second, and generosity your lifelong rhythm. Because money that flows through a grateful and wise heart always finds its way back multiplied. So let me ask you, what if this moment is the key God has been waiting for you to turn? What if the change you've been praying for begins the moment you truly believe that your Father cares even about your finances? This is not about luck or chance. It's about faith, timing, and divine partnership. Say it with conviction, I release my fear and receive your provision. Every time you speak that sentence, heaven hears. Every time you pray with a surrendered heart, you activate unseen movement in your favor. As you walk forward from here, remember this prayer is not begging, it's aligning. When you pray a sincere money prayer or attract money declaration, you're not trying to make God move. You're agreeing with the fact that He already is. You're saying yes to His divine economy, where giving brings gain and faith multiplies favor. God wants to bless you, but He also wants to build you. The real miracle isn't just that money shows up. It's that fear leaves, hope rises, and you begin to live knowing that you're not alone in the struggle. The next time you worry about tomorrow, remember this: heaven has already written provision into your story. All you need to do is believe, speak, and trust. Keep praying, keep believing, and keep your heart open, because the same God who counts your tears also counts your blessings. In this moment, you and I are preparing a prayer for financial miracle, not because we think a magic formula will drop money on your doorstep, but because you are ready to speak with alignment, integrity, and faith. Your soul remembers that you were made to be more than worried. You have tried pushing, calculating, staying up through long nights doing the mental math that never quite balances. You know what it feels like to stare at a heavy gate that will not budge. But have you noticed how even the heaviest gates pivot when the right key turns easily and quietly? The right key doesn't strain, it simply clicks. This is the click we're practicing, a prayer for financial miracle joined with the law of attraction and the humble openness that says, I am willing to be surprised by grace. Because when your thoughts, emotions, words, and actions agree, your life stops arguing with itself and starts harmonizing with possibility. I believe, yes, personally, I believe your life is wiser than your worry, and you are meeting that wisdom now. So if you're willing, place your hand gently on your chest, soften the muscles in your jaw, and let your mind grow still the way a lake grows still at dusk. And let me ask you, what would change if you decided that provision is already on its way, that help is already walking up your path, that you are allowed to be blessed without apologizing for it? What if you trusted that God, who knows your name and your needs, is not late? And what if your steady, faithful voice is the open doorway? Hear this truth like a bell in the clear air, and my God will supply every need of yours according to His riches in glory. Philippians 4:19. Let that promise sit inside you until your shoulders lower, your breath deepens, and your heart remembers that your life is not an accident. Now we speak directly, not as beggars but as beloved children. Not pleading but partnering, because the law of attraction is not about demanding from the universe. It is about cooperating with how attention shapes outcomes, and how clear intention married to consistent action invites matching results. So speak with me, not as a ritual but as a living decree, and feel how the words choose you as much as you choose them, Father of abundance. I align with you now. I release the tight fist of fear and open the palm of trust. I say yes to sufficiency, to wise stewardship, and to timely doors opening. I welcome restored opportunities, reconciled accounts, and guidance that helps me use money as a tool, not a master. I become the kind of person who can receive and manage blessing with clarity, humility, and joy. I forgive myself for every anxious decision and choose wiser patterns starting today. I bless my skills, my time, my network, and my next right step. I allow provision to arrive in expected and unexpected ways. I declare that I walk with favor and make choices that honor my future. I rest in peace while I act in courage. Amen. Now pause with me, not because we are waiting for fireworks, but because seeds sprout best in quiet soil. And while we are still, let me ask, what is one bold, honest action you can take today that agrees with your prayer? Maybe it's the message to send, the resume to refresh, the invoice to issue, the boundary to set, the budget to honor, or the clutter to clear. When you act in agreement with your words, you signal to life that you are serious about change, and change responds. I have seen it in so many lives, and personally, I have watched my own life rearrange when I refused to treat prayer as a panic button and started treating it as a partnership with God. Remember too that generosity is not just about large gestures. It is the daily willingness to live open-handed. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be poured into your lap. Luke 6:38. This is not a loophole to trick the heavens. It is a reminder that circulation keeps money moving and keeps your heart from shrinking. Can you feel the shift already? The way your chest is less tight and your eyes see a little more light. That right there is where the law of attraction meets the law of attention. What you honor grows, so let's name your intentions out loud with warmth and conviction. Let them be practical as well as prayerful. What income stream wants your focus? What debt wants a plan? What talent wants to be offered to the right people? This is how a prayer for financial miracle becomes a path instead of a wish. How money becomes a servant of your purpose rather than a source of constant dread. And if doubt tries to talk you out of it, ask it a kind, open question. Doubt, what are you trying to protect? And is there a truer way to feel safe? Then thank doubt for trying to help and choose courage anyway. I want you to know that I believe in this practice because it respects both spirit and stewardship, both blessing and budgeting. It keeps your heart tender and your mind clear. You are not twisting any arms in the sky. You are aligning with God, with your own integrity, and with the patterns that make flourishing likely. And yes, say the words plainly. I welcome money that is earned with honesty. I welcome opportunities that fit my gifts. I welcome guidance that keeps me wise. Keep those phrases close and return to them throughout your day like touchstones in your pocket. The more you return, the less you panic. And the less you panic, the better you decide. That is the subtle miracle. Panic fades. Clarity grows. Will you let yourself try this again tomorrow and the day after? Let the compound interest of calm and focus reshape your week. Keep weaving your prayer for financial miracle through the small choices. Your morning priorities, your measured spending, your generous response, your commitment to finish what you start. Remember that the law of attraction loves a steady signal. Your steady signal is grateful, hopeful, and diligent. Say with me, simply, I am aligned, I am guided, I am ready. As you carry this posture, you will notice conversations open, mentors appear, invoices clear, and even past kindnesses circle back in ways that surprise you. Do you feel how different that is from grasping your life doesn't need you to grasp? It needs you to agree with what is good, to act with integrity, and to keep your inner room uncluttered. As you do, your relationship with money softens and strengthens at the same time. Your confidence returns, and your future stops feeling like a problem to solve. It starts feeling like a mission to embrace. This is your moment, and I'm with you in it. Keep breathing, keep blessing, keep aligning, keep acting, and let God meet you in the middle with provision, wisdom, and peace. The gate is already turning on its hinge, and you are already walking through. Beloved friend, lean in with me right now and let me speak directly to your heart. What you are about to hear is meant for you in this exact moment. You are not chanting empty syllables or performing a hollow ritual. You are choosing, breath by breath, to step into alignment with a living current that has carried weary souls across deserts of fear into gardens of rest. As you return to this simple practice in private, as you guard it like a candle cupped against the wind, you are not hiding out of shame. You are honoring the sacred, building a sanctuary inside yourself where worry cannot shout over the whisper of hope. And as you do, something begins to shift beneath the surface. Have you felt that subtle loosening in your chest, that gentle drop of your shoulders, that quiet sense that the ground under you is not cracking but settling, I believe? And I say this with kindness and conviction, that your spirit already remembers what your mind sometimes forgets. You were made to walk in peace, to make wise choices, to be generous without fear, and to trust that provision is not a distant myth, but a nearby river. When your inner weather clears, provision begins to take shape around you in ways that feel both surprising and strangely natural. Have you noticed how, when you breathe and stop arguing with reality, solutions start arriving that had been waiting patiently at your door? In my view, that is not an accident. That is alignment, and alignment is the doorway through which grace steps. So keep this practice close. Speak softly to your own soul. Treat your time here like an altar, because what you rehearse in secret writes the script for what you live in public. As you bless others, not out of performance, not to impress, but because blessing is how you were designed to move through the world, you become part of a chain of answered petitions, the kind that are delivered through ordinary hands, including yours. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to become the kind of person someone else thanks heaven for today? What would it look like if your listening, your patience, your encouragement became the small hinge that turns someone else's heavy door? I have seen again and again that when we release kindness, the path loops back with multiplied light. The flow you set in motion for another circles home with quiet abundance, and you discover that the very hope you offered out has taken root in your own house. Breathe with me now. Slow, steady, present. You do not need an age of striving for your life to turn. You need a single, honest agreement between your faith and the word spoken over you. That union is power, clean, immediate, unforced power, without anxiety's delay. Right here, you are stepping into a stream that has carried many before you. If you listen closely, you will hear your name called not by condemnation, but by welcome. Carry this key with care. What is placed in your hand in this moment will open opportunities for years. Pause and let that truth soak into the deeper layers of your being. You are not merely repeating phrases. You are returning to a center that cannot be purchased or praised into existence. Each word you shape with intention becomes a note in a song the unseen knows well, and songs sung with trust never dissolve into silence. They echo until they find the outcome that matches their tone. This is not legend or superstition. It is a living principle guarded across centuries, carried by prophets who learned to whisper hope, wielded quietly by kings who understood that crowns are heaviest when worn without humility, and practiced by ordinary hearts who dared to believe that impossible doors are only doors that have not yet heard the right knock. You are not late. You are right on time. Consider this who benefits from the story that tells you transformation takes forever. That relief must crawl toward you with cruel slowness. That your best possibilities are always out of reach, who has whispered that it is too fast, too unrealistic, too good to be true. I am here to say that quick change is not the enemy of depth. Sometimes speed is simply the natural pace of grace when you stop resisting and start receiving. You do not require an era of waiting to welcome a shift. You require one wholehearted yes, the kind you can offer right now. That is why these few intentional breaths matter so much. They are not wasted chatter. They are a steadying command that calls scattered energy home to you and organizes your steps. Perhaps you are tired. Tired of hoping, tired of counting days between paychecks, tired of juggling expenses with a smile that hides exhaustion, tired of pretending strength while shame yammers at the edges of your mind. It is precisely there, in that honest place where your efforts have reached their limit, that power loves to prove itself gentle and strong on your behalf. When you cannot, strength can. When you collapse, you are carried. What we are doing together here is not trickery or superstition. It is authority worn with humility. Just as a sovereign's decree needs no theatrical explanation, only enactment, so too does a faithful word spoken from a centered heart set quiet forces in motion. Opportunities begin to stir. Debts soften, offering unexpected mercy. Conversations bloom into favor. Messages arrive with outcomes you had nearly let go of. And yes, provision begins to show up in ways you can track and in ways you cannot. Hear me, the aim of this practice is not to flaunt riches. It is rest, deep, unclenched, sustainable rest, the kind that frees your mind to think clearly, your heart to give wisely, and your life to move unafraid. The outward proof may be provision, but the deeper miracle is transformation. Courage where shame crouched, generosity where scarcity scowled, clarity where confusion swirled. Whisper with me now. Slowly and deliberately, I receive invisible abundance right now. Let those words be the doorway you walk through again and again, not as a shortcut around responsibility, but as a pathway into wiser choices and calmer days. When a person returns to this posture, their life begins to arrange itself with surprising coherence. They notice chances to save where they once bled resources. They spot dignified ways to increase value. They detach from the urgent voice of panic and listen for the steadier voice that points to the next faithful step. Ask yourself, what one step could you take today that would honor the peace you are claiming? An honest conversation, a careful plan, a boundary that protects your time, a small act of generosity that keeps your heart open, because your heart is attuned to both spirit and practice. Let me speak plainly. Many call this the law of attraction. But whatever your name for it, you already know its rhythm. Where your sustained attention goes, energy follows. As you attend to gratitude, discipline, creativity, and kindness, opportunities tend to gather around those qualities, like birds returning to a welcoming tree. I have found that a prayer for financial miracle becomes most powerful not when it is shouted in desperation, but when it is spoken from a grounded place, trusting that you and God are co-working in both the seen and unseen. When you couple that trust with clear action, the outcomes can feel like a quiet kind of wonder. Tell me what would change if, each morning, you chose to notice one gift already present before you asked for another. What would shift if, each evening, you blessed the smallest evidence of forward movement over time? Such attention tills the soil of your life so that gifts can actually take root instead of sliding off parched ground. I believe you are already carrying more strength than you know, and this very moment is a hinge. Turn it with intention. If you feel led, share these words with someone who could use a handhold, not as a performance, but as a practice of generosity. Remember this wisdom give. and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over. Luke 6:38. And hold this promise, for I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Haimeka 29:9 Sergyan, or Jama for 9:11. Now breathe again. Name out loud what you seek without apology. You want enough, and enough is noble. You want to handle money with clarity and calm. You want to be free to give, to save, to plan. You want a life light on shame and heavy on wisdom. Whisper again, I receive invisible abundance right now. Let the prayer for financial miracle, the law of attraction, and your faith in God work together in peace. As you do, notice the relief that arrives before the results, the deep inhale that signals your nervous system. It is safe to hope again. Stay here for a few more breaths. From here, you will find yourself guided to practical steps, as surely as you are held by quiet grace. And as you move, saving a little, giving a little, learning a little, you will experience how words and deeds harmonize into outcomes that feel like answered petitions. Continue to hold this posture in secret. Keep it sacred. Let it shape your inner world. As peace takes root, provision buds around you. Before long, you will be the one smiling to another traveler, saying, keep it private, keep it holy, let it make you kind, and watch how the river rises. And when you return here again, we will breathe, align, and ask together. Because this is how prayer for financial miracle becomes a way of being. This is how the law of attraction supports your deepest values. This is how money becomes a tool, not a master. And this is how God walks with you, quietly, faithfully, as you step into the flow you were always meant to know. Now, place your hand upon your chest. Feel your heartbeat. That steady rhythm is proof that you are still chosen, still sustained. Say aloud, not as superstition but as declaration. Lord, I lay my debts before you. I release my worry and I receive your provision. This, beloved, is your prayer for financial breakthrough. You're not denying your circumstances. You're inviting heaven into them. Let debts be erased. Let closed doors open. Let provision come from places you cannot predict. Speak this over yourself. I receive unexpected money, divine opportunities, and heavenly peace. Now, let me speak to your modern reality. In a world obsessed with financial gain, cryptocurrency, market crashes, and credit scores, it's easy to forget that true provision does not come from your job, your portfolio, or your bank. It comes from your source. Money is a tool, not a master. So while you plan, save, and invest, remember to ground your strategy in faith. Your financial prayer should always anchor your financial plans. When you invite God into your budget, wisdom flows with creativity. Opportunities you never thought possible begin to align with divine timing. I know life at 30, 40, 50, even 65 can feel like a tug of war between dreams and obligations. You have bills, maybe children in college, aging parents to care for, health concerns, or a mortgage that seems endless. But God is not intimidated by your balance sheet. He specializes in turning the ordinary into overflow. Just as He turned water into wine, He can turn your exhaustion into expectancy. But you must keep your spirit open. You must speak life where debt has spoken defeat. So tonight, when you lay your head down, let your heart whisper this prayer for money, Lord. Make me a vessel of provision, not a victim of pressure. Teach me to see opportunities where others see obstacles. Let resources flow to me, through me, and for your glory. Do this daily and watch how your mindset changes. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, begin to say, Lord, show me the way. Instead of I'm stuck, say, I'm being stretched for a blessing. Remember, financial freedom doesn't begin with income. It begins with insight. When you combine faith with wise action, heaven blesses your effort. Keep learning, keep stewarding, keep sowing. The miracle isn't just that money will appear, it's that your heart will transform from fear to trust. You will start to see God's fingerprints in every small provision, a discount, a kind gesture, an opportunity you didn't expect. And when that moment comes, when an envelope arrives, when a payment clears, when peace finally settles, don't forget to give thanks. Gratitude is the magnet that keeps miracles returning. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. You may not see it yet, but angels are already at work on your behalf. They are turning systems in your favor, aligning opportunities, and opening doors in places you've never walked. What was delayed is being delivered. What was denied is being redirected for your good. You will look back on this season and say, "It was necessary that I waited, for now I see that the delay built my discernment." My friend, let this truth settle. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are being prepared. The same God who clothes the lilies and feeds the sparrows is orchestrating your provision. Do not let fear speak louder than faith. Stand firm, speak life, and believe that your prayer for financial breakthrough is not in vain. The heavens hear, the earth responds, and your life, yes, your life is about to reflect the abundance of divine order. So right now, say it one last time from your heart, Lord. I thank you for what is coming. I thank you for what is unseen. I thank you that lack is leaving and provision is arriving. I am aligned. I am ready. I am open. This is not a wish, it's a witness. This is your testimony being written in real time. Heaven has heard, the angels have recorded, and soon, you will testify that the prayer for money miracle you once whispered has become the breakthrough you now walk in. Amen.